So, right off the bat, let's talk about Nintendo Switch. Why is this game a Nintendo Switch exclusive? Well, From Software has had exclusivity rights on certain games historically. We have to guess that this license probably is at least a few years old, and it's a business move for From Software and for Switch. The way that this game will move Switch consoles for a more hardcore gaming audience can really not be overstated. This game will get ported, I'm pretty certain, even though Bloodborne never was. I'm guessing that this game will probably get ported, but the idea that From Software's newest PvP game is going to be a Switch game is one of the most interesting but simultaneously infuriating things that I could think of. What do we know about From Software PvP? Bad netcode. Everybody knows this. In order to even have a chance of playing the game in any kind of fun or balanced way, you must have an Ethernet cable. You must have pretty high quality internet, not amazing, but you need decent download speeds. But most importantly, you need an Ethernet cable. The Switch 1 doesn't even have an Ethernet cable port. Okay? So people are going to be on the bus on the city Wi-Fi playing this game, PvP, right? There's going to be so many people skipping, glitching, animation skipping, popping in and out, random ass disconnects. If you don't believe me, you just wait a year and a half and see. I guarantee you that that's what the PvP in this game will be like. Unless the Switch 2 has an Ethernet port. Does it? I need to look it up. I didn't even look it up. I should look it up. I don't think it does, but I don't know. Okay, well, regardless of if you have to buy an extra peripheral or not, most people who play the Switch will not use these. They're not going to buy a new one because Switch is a more casual console, so you're going to have a hardcore gaming crowd coming over. This is going to be very interesting. I don't think that that's going to make the game not worth playing, but I do find it to be fascinating. Does the Switch make a controller that has back paddle? Okay, anyway. Let's watch this. Okay, so Miyazaki directed this game. From a lore perspective, from a visual perspective, everybody screams and squeals Bloodborne. It's got that Victorian aesthetic, steampunk. Okay, so they're talking about humanity's Thus is clearly a vampire game. Spoiler alerts, it's about vampires. And they're talking about taking the world to a night of moonlight, humanity's dusk, which, indicates that there's some maybe large war, some kind of, big scrum between the humans and the vampires are trying to take over. Okay, let's stop on this frame. This train is cool. Okay? This looks neat. I haven't seen them do many, mechanical devices in their games. Armored Core accepted, but them mixing that, very kind of dark and dusty, polluted streets, Victorian aesthetic with a little bit of that steampunk. That's cool. I live in a clock. Beautiful stained glass, rendering of a stained glass window. And then you have this guy, okay? This guy is, his name is D. Okay, his name is DEEZ. And, Vampire Hunter DEEZ. And I'm not sure what his deal is. He seems to be a vampire. You'll see him sucking some blood very soon. And he has a pretty cool looking kit. You'll see later he uses guns. I don't know. It's my impression that this game may be somewhat similar to Nightreign in the way that it has, pre-built characters. And I'm wondering about the flexibility of quote-unquote build making. Because you just see DEEZ throughout the rest of the trailer. and then there's one other character who looks to have a feminine appearance. So maybe it's these two main characters, but then they show some other people. I don't know, like, who's this guy? That's Dee's grandfather. Oh yeah, Katana Man, Ninja Lady. Okay, so they do show these other characters. So are these the playable characters of the game? That last dude looked cool as fuck. Yoshimitsu guy? Okay, let's check that out again. What's that guy doing? He's got a little bit of like a Oni kind of like demonic or like evil sort of styling from Japanese folklore with the horns and then the blue skin. He looks cool as fuck though. And he looks like he has a really good sense of balance. And as you'll continue to see here, this game, from an art direction standpoint, it's got some very new and interesting things, but a lot of the backgrounds, the textures, to me, the character models, a lot of those things look very much like Elden Ring, and it's from that era of From Software production, right? Or at least the one immediately succeeding that. So what we have here is a really interesting it's not I don't think we can I mean, is it a Souls-like? Is this the next Souls-like of From Software? I don't think it is necessarily. I think that they may be working on another one that has more of a different slant, but that's speculation that I can leave for another time. But in this particular video, you can see that, you know, because it was made right after Elden Ring and because they're making it for the Switch 2, they're not pushing the hardware, right? The Switch 2 is pretty much like a PlayStation 4, which, don't get me started on us gamers spending $450 for what amounts to a handheld PlayStation 4. I mean, that's kind of insane, and there's just gonna be huge outcry around that. And the way that the gaming community is going to react to this will be really interesting. I myself, personally, I was planning on buying a Switch 2 when I had the money for it this summer. I may be able to afford it, or I might have to wait until, you know, a few months later in the fall. But, I mean, I had intended on getting a Switch 2 anyway, mostly because I like Nintendo titles. I've enjoyed owning a Nintendo Switch, and there's actually some Switch games that have come out recently that I basically refuse to play on the Switch 1 because the technology is so outdated, and I don't want to play a game that has really intense animation that runs at 12 frames per second and starts my fucking Switch on fire every time I start the game. So you'll see here the asset generation, and you know, this guy, he's kind of like okay, you expecting me to believe that his jetpack is strong enough to push him through the air when he has all that armor on? Very interesting. That's so gross. What is that? Appalling. Okay, so like, what is this guy? Clearly some type of eldritch manifestation, and then this is the first time we see this character. So, you know, with the way that this is laid out, now that I've watched it a couple times, I kind of think that these characters that they do these profiles of, you see the framing of this shot and the framing of this shot are very similar. I think that these are the main characters of the game. And you can see, you'll start to see, I mean, you can see, like, to me, let's see, let's go back here. The shot where right away after the clip they, not that one, second, maybe it was that part that we were with Big Tin Man here. So Tin Man, he looks dope. Okay, so like this stuff, like you see, look at the buildings, right? Like the tile sets for the buildings, Elden Ring. Like look at this tile set on the building there. That just looks like Stormvale Castle. So, you know, there's this thing about, you know, visually, and I think Elden Ring is a great looking game, but visually it does have, you know, it looks like Elden Ring. It looks like Nightreign, you know, and that's fine. And all From Software games kind of have some, you know, visual continuity throughout them. But I believe that just from a overall, not the specific artistic direction of this game, but in terms of the asset conglomeration, the backgrounds, environments, buildings, etc., really reek of that Elden Ring era of From Software game production that we may now be exiting. And historically, From Software has been going at a rate of about 1 game per year here. But they may increase their rate of production. And I've been waiting for this new IP and wanting a new From Software IP. And now I want another new one, because even though I will probably love this game, I would like to have another new From Software game that's not Nightreign that I can play on my PlayStation. I think that's going to be a pretty common sentiment. That's so awesome. Okay, so she's kind of like, you know, away for whatever, and then you got this guy, bald guy with no skin, classic archetype. And then this part starts to look pretty nice. It's like, okay, is this an open world game where I can fly around? Maybe it is. That'd be fucking sweet. But then, will that happen in PvP? It gives me all these weird questions. And then you got like the big titty frog. And then this guy who you saw earlier summons someone. And then this guy goes all fucking Devil May Cry on the shit. Bayonetta with 2 pistols flying through the air. Like, what? And then this, okay, is this going to be a PvP mechanic? Am I going to have to deal with a guy turning into a goddamn dinosaur in PvP? But yeah, and then you see some things where it's like, okay, like, lots of this trailer looks amazing. I think it looks incredible. But, like, look at this guy. Like, I don't know about that. Why is it? But yeah, look at this guy. Look at his hair. And, like, it looks like a funny wig, and he, like, really doesn't look very good. Like, that doesn't look that good. I mean, like, you can see the polygons, but let me tell you, that's because it's on the Switch, too. Like, this is all taken from the game, I'm sure. That is just an animation from Elden Ring, as is that. Those are both DLC animations. One of them is from the Curse Blade enemy type, that spinning move with the backhand blade. That's the Curse Blade. This is the animation for the Rot Butterfly spell. So you see these reused animations, and I'm sure that'll be the case for the combat as well. And that means that the PvP players who played a lot of Elden Ring, as always, the legacy players will have a bit of a leg up to start, because they'll be comfortable with the way that the work together. And then, of course, you have a classic rat with bird's wings. Everybody knows what that's about. Let's watch it one more time and see if we catch anything that we... That looks really cool. Oh, the way that, like, scar in his hand. It's like a blood bite or something. That's our main character becoming a vampire? Is that what's happening there? Just they show you the beginning of the story right away? The trailer does seem to be more linear, and if we're really looking into it, I think we can see some pretty clear details of how the gameplay and the story will be. He's got, okay, so he's got that piece on his back, so he does have that thing. He's carrying it around. That guy with the glasses, they only show for a very brief second. And he's maybe some kind of like wizard or something. Wizards! This guy looks kind of cool. He looks like Loki with a katana. And then you got this person with the hat. And that guy, that's my dude. He's got like a huge glaive made of rocks, it kind of looks like. And he's doing some like key energy expansion. And then, of course, everybody's favorite character, the Tin Man, the fucking tank. Goddamn bull goat. And then we got this pumpkin pie haircutted freak. So then, yeah, so I think they're showing, like, maybe some of the characters you can play, and then some of the villains, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's clearly some sort of blood-sucking mechanic. Suck the blood! Oh, the big movie frog! That thing is truly fucking hideous. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna back this up. What is this? Okay, what is that? This is just showing a cool environment thing. It's just a rock. A green rock. I mean, it looks neat. It looks nice, but like, question this frame. What is the purpose of that? What are they trying to tell us there? Okay, so this to me very much looks like a boss fight. Okay, you know, you're going through a door in an entry room into a larger space to fight one enemy. And this guy was shown at sort of towards the beginning. And if you look here, it's actually kind of cool on the character model. You can see he's got his katana hilt. And it also looks like he's got a gun holster. So maybe it is going to be something where, you know, you have some gunplay or whatever a la Bloodborne, but maybe ramped up a little bit. Maybe a little more in depth. I think people would like that. And then it's like he summons this person, but it doesn't look like a ghost. It looks like a real person. So maybe this is an indicator of the multiplayer here, that these two are both player characters. I'm not sure. Or maybe there's just a mechanic in the game where you can snap your finger and, you know, it's like a spirit ash sort of thing. Okay, so he has a shield there and gets guard broken. That guy looks kind of like Blaive. You've got wolf riding. You've got dinosaur transforming. See, that must be a player character getting eaten by... Can't even really see. I couldn't even really see it. It doesn't look like that same player character, so I'm guessing that's a player character getting eaten by some kind of boss. So yeah, that's like the Dex Samurai or whatever. And then you've got a mage. You've got the gun guy, who's the main character. So you got like a gun guy, a katana guy, a wizard, a Dex shinobi, and who else did we see? So it's interesting. I feel like they're taking some of the ideas of Nightreign of having these like sort of pre-built characters. There's this guy. That guy's like maybe a faith spammer or something. Like you clearly see some of these, and then this guy. So that's, and then this guy too, Tin Can Man. Okay, so because my memory is poor, I'm gonna count them 1, 2 characters that they show here, 3, 4, and then 5, the Oni guy. Then you got the crazy Tin Man, 6. That shot is so awesome. I hope you can do that. And 7, the magical girl archetype. And then this guy, I think he's a bad guy, but maybe not. Maybe you can unlock the characters as the game goes on. Who knows how it works? You know that they're going to have some different mechanical things as well as some different structural things in the game design. They're going to try a few new things. It's not going to be a straight up Souls-like. It's not going to just be like Elden Ring, where you walk out a door and there's just a bunch of crap for you to pick up. Contemplate now the moon as befits the departed. Yeah, Blaive. Some of the stuff in this looks extremely terrifying. That guy looks like he's wearing his PJs. This guy's my favorite. This is the best part of the whole trailer. Check out my drip. It's my Pajamas! Yeah, that was cool. I'm excited about it. I think that it will be an interesting product. It looks like they're mixing some of their main ideas and some of the things that they've done in the past with a few new ideas as well. And that's cool. Exciting.